My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey folks, welcome back. Today I've got a special guest and an old friend, Michael B. Arthur, who's zooming in from beautiful Ottawa, Ontario. Michael is a triple threat when it comes to real estate investing. He is a real estate investor. He's done all sorts of different kinds of deals these days. He and his wife are focusing more on small multifamily properties. He's also a very, very experienced and knowledgeable real estate agent, realtor, and he's also helped a lot of people through coaching and training and teaching about real estate investing itself. I've had the pleasure of knowing Michael for quite a number of years now. And Michael, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Welcome.
Oh, appreciate it, Dave. Thanks. It's nice to see you again after all these years. Yes, thank you.
So, Michael, we were
Yeah.
talking a little bit offline, and
Mm.
you're getting on the soapbox today, and you want to talk about something that really kind of irks you, and that's something that that you've seen as both a realtor and as an investor and as somebody who works with real estate investors, and that is
Yeah.
some really big mistakes, kind of dumb mistakes, newer real estate investors are continually making. All right, and it's costing them
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of money. So
Yeah.
let's talk about what would you say is one of the bigger mistakes you see people making over and over and over again?
Yeah. Yeah. Dave, just based on my been in the real estate investor about 10 years right now. And there's three critical mistakes I've been seeing consistently from new real estate investors, and I call them the three Ds. Okay. The first one is that a lot of new real estate investors look at the wrong data, right? The data that they use is learning from somebody else through speculation to say, oh, invest in this building or invest in this area, blah, 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 blah. It's brand new, blah, 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 without looking at the real numbers of the property in question, right? So they use that information and put their money into the property that they thought that it's going to make them money, and then they lose it. They lose money consistently every day. It's negative cash flow every month. And what they forget is that they rather there's a saying I use, one of the principles that I use as a real estate investor and as a coach when I teach my clients is that they forget to focus on the numbers rather than they use their emotions
Hmm.
to make those
So what
decisions.
data are people looking at, and which
Okay.
data are they forgetting to look at?
Okay, let me give you an example. Okay,
Yeah.
one example is that what I've learned is that you have to go to a city or a local government's economic development office as an example. What you do is when you go into that office, or you can do it online as well, is that you can retrieve information of upcoming projects in the neighborhood, in the city, or in the region or local town that you're living in, or where you want to invest. As the saying goes, you invest where the construction is happening and where the jobs are. So when you get that information of upcoming infrastructure projects, commercial development projects, residential projects, those are opportunities where you can find existing properties, or you can find pieces of land to build on where there's opportunities for appreciation over time. A lot of you real estate investors don't do that. That's
No.
just one example. That's just one example. So I've been seeing that where like a lot of investors they don't even do the proper analysis. They don't look at the cash on cash, the net yield, the DCR. They don't even look at that. You just want to invest. Oh, I just want to make money based on speculation, based on what somebody told them, who's not even qualified or who's not even experienced.
So
And I've been seeing
what are
that.
you seeing? You're seeing people that are jumping in. Everybody around them seems to be buying real estate. They've got FOMO, fear of missing
Yeah,
out. So they just run in
exactly.
and buy a property and they
Buy
hope.
property. thinking, hoping that it will make money, be profitable, and all that, while they realize every month that they're consistently losing money, negative
Yeah.
cash flow, and then then they have to force either do a refinance or forced to sell or
Just
stick with it.
or subsidize the hell out of it. Okay.
Hell of it,
Yeah.
yes.
So I know from my own personal experience, working with people related to this, looking at the wrong data or incomplete data is also
Hmm.
just relying on the owner to tell you the truth with the
Yep.
data that they give you, or the realtor, just trusting
Hmm.
blindly the information that you get from the realtor about a property.
Yeah.
So years ago, I was working with my buddy Ken Beaton, and we were looking at some properties in your neck of the woods
Yeah.
in
Yeah. Yeah.
Smiths
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Falls
Yeah.
and areas around
Yeah.
there.
Right.
That was Ken's favorite thing is, trust but verify. Actually, he didn't even say
Yep.
trust but verify. It's like, don't believe a damn thing the seller's telling you.
Yep.
Reconfirm, re-verify, assume that they're
Hmm.
fudging the numbers, and
Right.
look at everything that way and really double check things. And yeah, all
Yeah.
sorts of stories about, you know,
Yeah.
false rent rolls and all these kind of things. So yeah, don't trust
Exactly.
the data that you get from the seller all the time either.
Which is a great segue, which comes to the second big mistake,
Okay.
and that is lack of due diligence. Perfect. You
Yeah,
know
well,
that, right?
it has a lot to do
It's
with data.
perfect.
So I guess the first
Yeah.
one was more about where the market's going, and
Yes.
now the due
Yes.
diligence is more about the property itself. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. That's correct.
Okay.
Where, as an example, you brought an example of your experience with Ken Beaton. Trust and verify. Don't rely on what the seller says. Don't rely on the MLS listing information, because sometimes, as you see in the MLS, a lot of these realtors, the listing agents, they misconstrue the numbers, trying to say that, oh, it has a great cap rate and all this stuff, and it's a great deal, where the new real estate investors is relying on that, and they make the purchase at that price while
Yeah.
they realize that they're still losing money, right?
Well, yeah,
So
because here a couple of things that I've seen with that, Michael, is number one, most realtors, unlike yourself, are not real estate investors. They are
exactly.
salespeople, and the product they sell is property. And
Yep.
the way they get compensated is by commissions. So we always have to
Correct.
remember that is, hey,
Hmm.
it's in your realtor's best interest to sell you that property because that's how they get paid.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, as you said, the end goal is, like, especially for the listing agent, is for the to buyer to buy the property. They get paid their commission that as the deal closes, and let the buyer deal with their problems.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And I've seen that countless times. And
Yeah.
in fact, I was been referred to by several people, or people who have contacted me to work with them, because they work with inexperienced realtors who don't even know, not even a lick, or a stream, or like a little teeny thing about real estate investing at all. So I've seen it. I've seen it all.
Yeah.
Been through.
Well, I mean, obviously, you're a real estate uh, agent and an investor all rolled into one.
Hmm.
Most of our folks listening or watching this are not in the Ottawa area. So, what
Yeah.
would you recommend for somebody as a way to find a good, trustworthy, knowledgeable realtor?
Well, you have to have an interview with them in
Yeah.
terms of their experience. And if, number one, are they a real estate investor themselves? That's the most important critical question. Are they a real estate investor themselves, right? How long have they been owning real estate investment for? What type of strategies do they use
Mhm.
to build their portfolio? Are they doing the BRRRR strategy? Are they doing the rent to own strategy? Um, are they doing to scale? Are they refinancing, stuff like that? These
Yeah.
different types of strategies. Are they using tax liens, like where I learned from you, in terms of like auction stuff, all that stuff? Are they
Mhm.
doing? Do they have that experience?
Are
And
they
as
are they
well,
doing what you want to do? Basically,
pretty
that's
much.
kind of what you want to see. Yeah.
And I will advise people who are watching this interview. This is critically important. It's important to ask realtors about asking them situational questions,
What
right?
does that mean?
Let me give let me give you an example, right?
Yeah.
So let's say that you come across a property and you like it, the numbers look good. What would you do? How would you analyze this property? Will you check the zoning? Will you check the history? Will you check to see if there is any liens on that property? Will you do your due diligence? The second mistake that new real
Mhm.
estate investors do. You have to ask those types of situational questions, right? What happens? How do you negotiate the deal? What happens if the seller doesn't want to accept my deal? What do you do? What strategies or options do you come up with for me to get this property that I want because it's going to positive cash flow for sure? Stuff like that. So you have to ask these types of situational questions and listen to the tone of the real estate agent, or if it's on phone or a Zoom call like we're doing right now, or in person. Look at their body language, get a sense of their tone. Are they really telling you the truth? Do they know what they're talking about?
Mhm.
Right? Do they have a strategic game plan of how to deal with that stuff? Do they have a checklist of what you need to do? Well, how do you analyze a property?
Mhm.
Right? Stuff like that. Do you have a calculator and an analyzer,
Mhm.
online analyzing an Excel document or an online software program, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, that
So
makes a lot of sense.
that's critically important
Yeah.
for new
All right.
real,
So we got the first two D's. First one
right?
is the data. So make sure you're looking at not just what's going on with the property, what's going
Mhm.
around the property and in the community, and is it in an
Yeah,
up and coming area of town that's going to appreciate
right.
nicely. The second one was doing
Mhm.
the proper due diligence, making sure the
Right.
deal is a deal, making sure that
Hmm.
you're working with a good realtor who knows what the heck they're doing. What's the third
Hmm.
one?
The third one is also critically important, is clear direction. You see, a lot of people, they, especially new real estate investors, they want to get into real estate to make money, which is fine.
Well, that's
But
kind of the purpose, right?
that's the purpose, yes. But the critical question, Dave, is what do you want to get out of real estate apart from making money? Do you want to donate to a local charity in your neighborhood? Do you want to help your fund your kids' children's education? Do you want to move from a small home or move from an apartment to a bigger house, to a bigger property? Do you want to use the money to travel around the world or to set up your own business,
Mm-hmm.
right? To transition from your 9 to 5 job to establishing a new business as an entrepreneur or a solopreneur. So these are the types of things you have to, like your why. Okay, yes, you have the money, but how are you going to use that money from real estate to fund the lifestyle that you want to have for yourself and your family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear it all
So
the time, Michael. I hear
that yeah,
I want to make $1 million or I want to make 10K a month. It's great. That's fantastic.
it,
Why? What are you going to do
why
with the $1 million? What are you going to do with the 10 grand a month? What does that actually
exactly.
mean to you? Because otherwise
Yeah,
it's just mental stuff,
yeah,
right? It's not
yeah,
real, but
exactly.
dial
Yeah,
into that why.
yeah.
Good
how
points.
how like how are you how are you going to use that money to impact not only your life but others in your life, people that you care about, people that you want to support, people
Hmm.
who you want to take care of, stuff like that. A lot of you new real estate investors don't think like that at all.
Yeah.
99.9% of them, as you know as well, and I've seen that not only as a real estate investor but as a coach as well. So
All right. Very, very cool, Michael. So you do a few different things in the real estate world. So I love that it's kind of all combined. You're a realtor, you're an investor, you're a
mhm.
coach. Walk me through a little bit like as a realtor, what is your niche or what is your specialty? What is the market that you focus on the most?
So my specialty is mostly concentrating with new real estate investors, mostly, but also experienced real estate investors who want to scale their portfolio. Okay, so what I do is that I sit down with them and ask them a series of questions, which using and part of it is part of the 3Ds that I talk about, right? Just to get to know where their head is at, right? So that we come up with a game plan that aligns to their not only to their goals, but also more importantly to their values,
Hmm.
right? So that's what I sit down with. I just don't sit down with them, say, oh, yeah, okay, you're interested in real estate. Okay, I'll send you properties. No, I want to sit down to get to know you first, who you are, your background, your family, your history, stuff like that.
So you're
And then
primarily working with people that are looking for single family homes or multifamily properties, bit of both.
yeah,
What is it?
various
Okay.
mixed use commercial properties,
Okay.
distressed properties, even
Hmm.
land development
And
as
what
well.
market you're in
So
Ottawa, so what market area
yeah,
are you covering?
I pretty much cover everywhere, but mostly my focus is Ottawa South, Orleans,
Hmm.
Nepean, Westboro, and as well as Canada, and some of the rural areas as well that I'm familiar with. Yeah.
All right. So in and around Ottawa, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the
Yeah.
realtor side of things. When it
Mhm.
comes to Michael Arthur, the real estate investor, what
Right.
kind of properties do you have and what kind of properties are you looking to acquire personally?
Right now, I have like right now, it's a mixture of passive and active real estate investing that I'm
Mhm.
doing, investments that I'm doing. I have I sold most of my properties, but I have one property which was my first home, which I converted into a basement apartment. That's how I started getting into real estate investing, just to let you know, by the way. And I have two units, one above, one below, is doing well. And then other investments is into using my TFSA, RSPs, and some money to lend to others to either not only to invest in real estate, but to help them on the down payment on their first home, or as well as use money to renovate their property, either um, to for refinance or to flip and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then myself and my wife, we're venturing out into getting into multifamily, especially not only small multifamily projects, but also commercial properties that have at least 5 units and above.
Very nice. All right. So
Yeah.
yeah, that works nicely. So you've got your realtor business, you've got investment properties. It sounds like you're a private money lender and on other people's
As well. Yep.
projects as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then you've gotten
Yep.
into the coaching biz as well because
Coaching biz.
now correct me if I'm wrong. It kind of sounds like you do some coaching anyhow with your
Clients.
realtor
Yeah.
clients. You have to coach them as to what the hell they're doing because a lot of people
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
in not knowing what they're doing. So now
Yeah.
you're offering those kind of services to people that might not be in your local area as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. 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 Definitely. Yeah. Outside of
Yeah.
Ottawa as well. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
And you focus more on newer real estate investors just getting
Yeah,
started
newer
or
real estate.
where's
Yeah, yeah, just getting started, or if they have a property or two, then I can work with them. Sometimes I do some consulting with experienced real estate investors if they want me to give them advice on a certain situation or problem or issue, stuff like that. Hmm.
yeah, very cool. Well, Michael, this
Yeah,
is awesome. It's really good reconnecting with you, and I'm
yeah,
impressed with how you have progressed since we
yeah,
last chatted. You've done a lot in real estate. Last time I was
yeah.
talking, you were just getting married. Now you got babies and all sorts of stuff happening. So
Oh yeah,
congratulations on that.
yeah, that's most of my full-time work.
You got a 2-year-old at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely,
He's
definitely keep you busy.
that's another business.
That's
Think about
another
it.
whole podcast there for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if people want to connect with you and find out more about what you're up to and maybe work with you one way
Yeah,
or the other, how can they do
sure.
that?
Best way to connect me is on Instagram. It's Mike the Agent 613 at Mike the Agent, MikeTheAgent 613. They could connect me there. And as well, when you go into my bio, I have a link that talks about I talk about the 3Ds briefly with you, but it goes more in depth. And as well, there's two other critical mistakes that new real estate investors need to learn about, right? To avoid themselves losing money.
Hmm.
So I talk about that as well. You'll see it in the link, and it's basically a great video tutorial, which not only tells you what the mistakes are, but how to avoid them through practical real life strategies.
Awesome. Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much, my friend. And everybody,
Yeah.
thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now, at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.